First story. My golden child twin cheated with my girlfriend, and parents took his side. Then he outed me as bi and homophobic parents, kicked me out of their house, disowning me, and calling me a fayat. Now they are reaching out, demanding I give my kidney to their son. So I gave them an ultimatum and went NC. I was told to post my story here, and I figured this was my revenge. Cast. Fake names for obvious reasons. Me equals Ryan. Brother equals Sebastian. Mum equals Mum. Dad equals Dad. Sister equals Jane. Best friend equals Isaac. Cousin equals Kai. Backstabbing cow equals girlfriend. Husband equals Daniel. Ryan and my twin brother Sebastian have never ever been close. In fact, he made life hell growing up, and my parents didn't help by playing favorites, getting him better stuff on our birthday, only going to see films he liked at the cinema, and giving him extra money for housework despite us doing the same amount of work. He would always put me down, belittle me, bully me with his friends at school, break my stuff, and then blame me, which was just a pain in general. Growing up, the only people I knew to rely on were my older sister Jane, my cousin Kai, and my best friend Isaac, who all knew what an awful person my brother was. Anyway, cut to when I was 17, and I had my first girlfriend, someone I loved very much. We didn't have sex because she wanted to wait until her 18th birthday to lose her virginity. But it turns out that she was having an affair with my brother behind my back for half the time we were together, and only got caught when it was revealed she was pregnant. I was crushed. She knew how much I hated my brother, and she saw some of the awful things he did to me. But she still went and did that. Cheating is bad enough, but to do it with him of all people. I punched him in the face, broke his nose, and made him lose a tooth. But according to my parents, I'm the one in the wrong, and now we have to help this girl who is carrying my brother's child, and have to help support them. My brother then said he had no intention of being a father, and told my girlfriend to get an abortion. She then ran out of town, and I never saw her again. I don't know if she had the baby or aborted. All I know is that she was gone, and my folks were still praising my brother as the golden child. I was still the black sheep and failure as usual. Another year goes by, and I and my brother still despise each other. But I started dating again. It was a long time, but I found someone. I found a boy I liked. I am bisexual, and this new guy Daniel I met at college caught my eye. He was deaf, and I studied sign language out of boredom, so we got talking, and things just seemed to click. We date, fall in love, and bring him to my friend Isaac's party to introduce him to friends, and all feels great. At this point, the only one who knew I was bi was Isaac. But one day, while walking into a cinema holding my boyfriend's hand, I bumped into my evil twin. He points, laughs, and makes some homophobic remarks. I tell him to go F himself, and I go see a movie with my arm around my boyfriend. When I got home after dropping my boyfriend off, I knew I'd be facing something as I walked through the front door. I saw both my parents on the sofa, and my mother was crying about how on earth she could have given birth to someone so disgusting. Was it too much to hope she saw the light and was talking about my brother? But nope, she was talking about me and how I'm a stain on our family's name. My father gets up to yell at me and spout homophobic remarks and slurs. At this point, I see my brother up the stairs with a SHT eating grin on his face. He then comes down and says he's uncomfortable sharing a room with a fayat, and my folks kick me out there and then. With what little clothes and money I had, I went to Isaac's house, and his family took me in, where I stayed for 6 months, actually experiencing familial love and affection. Isaac's mother and stepfather are now what I consider my own parents. Eventually, me, Daniel, and Isaac all get a 2-bedroom flat together, and all is well for the time being. So cut to December last year, me and my boyfriend, now husband Daniel, are married. Isaac was my best man. My sister and cousin Kai walked me down the aisle. I have a brilliant job in graphic design. I have my own house by the sea, and life has never been better. However, I got a call from my sister that my brother was in the hospital. I hadn't thought about him that much over the 9-year period since I was kicked out, but being reminded of his existence brought up a lot of painful memories for me. I was told by my sister that Sebastian wanted to see me and that it was urgent, so I went to the hospital he was in and met my sister outside the front entrance. I asked her what this was all about, but she didn't tell me and said that I needed to ask my twin. So I arrive at where my brother is, who has my parents by his side, and my folks actually look happy to see me, as if what they did to me hadn't happened, and Sebastian also looked really pleased to see me. It's safe to say something was off. Eventually, I ask what's going on and why I'm even here, and my brother tells the family to leave us two alone. He looks so weak, as before he used to intimidate me so much. He told me that he was dying from kidney failure and had been for the past few years. But now that he didn't have long left, I knew immediately where this was going. He then said he always regretted that we never got along, at which point I told him no. He looked confused and asked what I was on about. So I simply told him I wasn't going to donate my kidney to save him. He looked as if I had just sucked in his food. He then went on about how bad the situation was, and that he really was sorry for all the things we did to each other growing up. Like, excuse me, what did we do to each other? I told him that I just wanted a brother growing up who cared and loved me, and wouldn't try to break me every day for 18 years. He then called in our mom and dad, and told them that I wasn't going to give up my kidney. They then started to spout off that I owed them for my existence, and that I have a duty to look after family. I asked them where that duty was when they kicked me out of the house, where that duty was every time my brother gave me a black eye, or where their duty was to look after their grandchild when Sebastian decided he didn't want to be a father. I said for all the things he has done, from outing me to having an affair with my girlfriend and abandoning his child, that this was the universe's and my way of finally giving back what he dished out to bite him in the arse. I then turned around and walked out of the room, knowing that was the last time I ever saw Sebastian again. I'm not sure why they would want a Fayot's kidney anyway. I walked past my sister, who gave me a look. I gave her a look back, and she then, in turn, gave me a look that said, I understand. After leaving the hospital, I felt as if a great weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I went home and never looked back, pleased with my decision. Last week, I got a call from my sister to inform me that Sebastian had died. She asked if I was okay, and I said I was, that I didn't really feel anything in all honesty. She said she understood to a degree, as Sebastian hadn't been all that kind to her over the years either. I had my husband and Isaac there to support me honestly. At this point, Isaac may as well be our adopted child since he has lived with us until this whole situation with the world is over. The next day, I was getting calls and texts from family members I hadn't spoken to in years, telling me that I was going to hell for being a bad son, a bad brother, and a Fayot, and that me and my husband don't deserve children hubby, and I have been looking into adoption and surrogacy. This makes me second-guess my choice to not give my brother my kidney, even in death, making things harder for me. I did wonder if I was a bad person, and if I made the wrong decision, but I knew that if I were in that position, I would have been left for dead. Screw him. Other bits of information that may clear things up. 1. His renal failure was from living a hardcore lifestyle of drugs and alcohol. 2. My folks and sister did get themselves tested to see if they were matches, and none of them were. 3. I disowned them for being my family years ago apart from Jane. So when I got married, I took my husband's last name and hyped it with Isaac's last name, which his folks were very pleased about. 4. Some family members, Kai's folks and my dad's brother, have actually called to see how I'm doing and say they don't judge me for what happened. Others, however, have continued with said abuse, whom I have now blocked. 5. If he had been a good brother throughout my life, I'd have done it without a second thought. I'd have done the same for Jane, Kai, Isaac, and my husband. But I felt he didn't deserve it. 6. It's unlikely I'll ever see my parents again, and I'll make sure my children never meet them. My revenge on them will be to be a better parent than they ever were. I didn't donate my kidneys to my evil brother due to him being awful to me my whole life, having an affair with my girlfriend, and then outing me and convincing my family to disown me because I'm bisexual. Update in raised by narcissists. So since posting about my twin story and how my family blamed me for people complaining about my folks, I figured I'd mention other stuff that they pulled. 1. They would never come to my hockey games or school plays, but would always go to my brother's rugby matches. 2. They refused to attend my sister's wedding because she was getting married to an Indian man. That dude is the best brother-in-law ever and a brilliant father to my nephews. At least I didn't have to see them at my sister's wedding, and I got to walk her down the aisle, and now my sister is very in contact with them. 3. When they kicked me out for being bisexual on my brother's orders, they also called up my best friend's mother, who was housing me, and told her to kick me out of there too. She told my mother to do a running jump. 4. They'd give my brother more money for doing housework, simply because they liked his personality more. 5. The first time they ever kicked me out was when I was 14, because I no longer believed in God anymore and was sent to stay with my uncle for a few weeks. 6. This is what really prompted me to make this post. Yesterday I got a call from my mother saying that she heard I was going to be adopting twins. and she decided that she and my dad should get one of them to replace the son, my twin, that they lost due to my evil actions. I told her to get effed. Do I have grounds for a restraining order? I have no idea why they want to bother me, or why they have hated me my whole life. To parents everywhere, be loving to your children. Second story. My company co-workers bullied me for the way I dressed, even though I followed the dress code. Now they are borderline harassing me, so I walked off. Then, the CEO called me for a meeting to solve the issue, only to body shame me even more. I've gotten a lot of different opinions from people in my life on this situation, so I want to ask some unbiased people. I 24F have been working at my job for a year and a half. I do a good job. My reviews have all been good, except for how I dress. This is my first corporate job. I put it in quotes because it's not really your average desk job. It's a sales office. We sell credit card machines. It's a company made up of 50 people in a very laid-back office environment. I am the receptionist and part of the marketing team, and I do tech support and office upkeep. I'm including this to show that I do a lot there. I don't just sit at the front desk and smile at people and transfer calls. We do not have customers come into the office. The only people that come in who are not part of the staff are the occasional interviewee. The dress code is jean casual. I signed a paper saying jeans and a nice top are the dress code. When I first got the job, I felt like I was overdressing. I would wear slacks and a blouse, or a dress, or a pencil skirt and a button-up. You get the point. Business wear is not my style whatsoever. I'm an alt girl. But I know a job is a job, and I sucked it up and bought clothes that were professional looking. But as I continued working, I noticed everyone dressing extremely casually. I'm talking ripped jeans, leggings, slides, graphic tees, baseball caps, and hoodies. As I continued working, I realized that some of my job duties were pretty physical. Sometimes I had to go into the bathroom to change the soap, if you've ever had to do that. You know, sometimes that means literally laying on the bathroom floor under the sink to twist the bottle on. Or do major cleaning where I would be getting dirty. Wearing a dress or a satin blouse was not it. So I slowly started dressing slightly down. Jeans that are not ripped, a nice top, not a t-shirt, sandals, or a clean white pair of slip-on Vans. Even that was more put together than 90% of the staff. Plus, I was much more comfortable and confident. I am the youngest employee. I feel like I still dress appropriately, and I follow the dress code that was described when I accepted the job. The executive assistant Linda 64F has taken a liking to me and has helped me be more professional with the way I interact with the CEO and things like that. She typically wears something like tights, ballet or pointy flats, and a blouse or sweater. But she's 64, so the blouses are, well, older lady longer blouses. You get the picture. She did my first review and said I was doing great. Later in the week, she pulled me in and told me that the CEO wants me to dress better. I was still new and trying to make a good impression. So I again bought some clothing that I felt was a little nicer, but decided to stick to more of my style and colors that I liked. Since everyone else seemed to dress however they wanted with no issue, I felt like I would be able to do that too while still maintaining a professional look. Well, I guess not. Something is always wrong with how I dress, but they always beat around the bush and don't tell me what they don't like. It's always so hush-hush. I don't wear leggings, I don't wear ripped jeans, I come with my hair done, and I wear jewelry. It's business casual, but like I said, I'm a little alt, so my outfits are black or sometimes patterned. I wear silver jewelry, and I have a nose ring that they said was fine. I even asked if they wanted me to change it to a stud, and they said no, it was okay. My tattoos are covered up, and my hair is not an unnatural color. I don't wear heavy alt makeup, but I'm not a preppy blonde, clean girl like their last receptionist. I had my 1-year review. Again, they said everything was great except your dress isn't quite where we want it to be yet. At this point, I was fed up because I was really trying, and I told them, you guys tell me this every review. I've bought a whole new wardrobe of business casual clothing, even though the described dress code is jean casual. I feel like I dress more business-like than everyone else. I don't get what I'm doing wrong. Mind you, this was my 1-year review, and I was fully expecting a raise. They've added many more job duties than what I was originally hired for. I didn't even get a 50-cent raise. I said that I have already spent a substantial amount of money on clothing to wear at this job. I can't keep on buying different clothes for this job. They do a thing around Christmas where the higher-ups have to get their subordinates a Christmas gift. My higher-ups are the executive assistant, the sales manager, the marketing manager, and the IT manager. I think they all assumed the others would get me something, but none of them did. I really did not care about that at all. 2 weeks ago, the executive assistant brought up the Christmas gift, She realized no one got anything. She said that, as a late Christmas gift, she wanted to get me some clothes for work. I felt pressured and in a sort of uncomfortable position, so I just agreed. She suggested just ordering stuff online. I told her Shane was cheap and had a lot of variety. Please don't come at me for supporting Shane. I know it's terrible. I was fully expecting her to explain the kinds of clothing they were looking for, and then I would be able to have some say, at least in terms of color. But no, she basically had me sit there. She picked out different tops, and they were all very older lady looking, with colors and prints that I would never ever choose for myself. Floral blouses, bright orange, bright yellow, etc. One of the tops came in leopard print. I said, "Oh, I like leopard. I can wear that with the black slacks I have." But no, I had to get the white with the blue flower print. She got me gold jewelry. Like I said, I wear silver, shoes with heels, and pointy toe flats. I was getting frustrated, so I just let it happen. The clothes came in, and I was upset. I felt like they just didn't like my style. I wore one full outfit she got me, and I just looked like her, not an outfit a 24-year-old would wear. I decided to mix in the stuff that she got me with some of my own stuff. Yesterday I wore a pair of boot-cut jeans, a nice black long-sleeve shirt, the gold jewelry, and a pair of heels that she got me. I honestly thought I looked very nice. In the middle of the day, she pulled me in and said that she was getting comments about my jeans from one of the male higher-ups. The jeans had no back pockets, but they were 100% denim. I was wearing heels, so I guess that accentuated my legs. She told me that someone was saying that I needed to wear a top that covered my butt if I was going to wear jeggings. I was having a rough day, and I finally snapped a little. I said I felt like I was getting unfairly targeted about how I dressed. I told her that I follow the dress code as described. The pants I was wearing were no jeggings. I wear the things they want me to wear. But the other women I work with continue to come in wearing leggings without their butt covered, tops with cleavage, graphic t-shirts, sweatpants, tight jeans, and jogger shorts. I come in dressed in business casual, even though the dress code is jean casual. And there is still something wrong with my outfit almost every day. I would understand it if I were wearing clothing that was inappropriate. But that's not the case. I also said I'm starting to feel uncomfortable that everyone has something to say about how I look. I am the youngest woman here, and I feel like they think they can push me around about things that don't affect my job performance. I walked out because I was sick of being insulted about how I dressed and made to feel insecure. I have a meeting with her and the CEO tomorrow about it. Now I'm nervous that I'm going to get in trouble. Is this situation weird? Am I not seeing something? Or is this unreasonable and borderline workplace harassment? Comments. Feeling Object 9383. OP, to be honest, at the moment you came in the office, mixing their purchased items with yours supplemented by golden-colored jewelry, I was totally pissed. Jeans and tops were in your description. Stick to it. With the next comment, bring it and show it to them. Tell them that you exactly followed the agreement. Golden jewelry instead of silver. Come on. What is happening is humiliating. I would understand if you work in the front office of a luxury hotel. Then you wear a uniform. Just say politely but firmly, I don't breach the dress code description. Don't spend much time on further discussion. Zombiewings 2015. Exactly. Explain to me how gold jewelry is okay, but silver is not. Explain to me what's wrong with my clothes in detail, so I can get this right. Explain to me in detail why this is against the code I signed. Explain to me how this is not considered harassment when I'm the only one getting talked to when wearing clothing. Secret Pics 6524. I've been in a professional setting for 23 years now, and I have no effing idea how women are supposed to dress. I've been in environments where I have to wear suits, and some women would wear leggings and a t-shirt with a flower on it. And older women that dress like SHT always seem to have some issue with some younger women that don't dress professionally by employee handbook standards, but dress more professionally than most. OP. Yeah, it's confusing. All the saleswomen dress like bums. I wear a form-fitting turtleneck and a knee-length skirt with my hair pinned up. It's inappropriate. I look online for young women, business casual outfit ideas, and follow that. And there is still an issue. I don't get it. Fish 115. Who exactly has been communicating these issues to you? To me, it seems like the executive assistant has a problem with you, and potentially some resentment. Who is doing your reviews? I hope your meeting will put an end to this. OP, the EA has been communicating most of the issues to me. The customer service manager also said something to me when I wore a form-fitting black turtleneck, saying others thought it was too tight. I have to do YouTube videos for the company too. I wore a green scoop neck blouse, no cleavage. The shot was waist up. And I had 3 rings on and a silver necklace. The CEO looked at the footage after we filmed and said that I looked chubby. I'm 127 pounds. And that all my jewelry was distracting, and had me refilm the entire thing with no jewelry, in a t-shirt with the company's logo on it and a sweater. So I can't be sure who has the most issues. I got a review from the EA and the sales and marketing manager. The reviews with the EA are the only ones that ever talk about how I dress. The 2 other managers I have reviewed are male. But with the comment about the jeans I was wearing, the EA said that a male higher-up thought they were inappropriate because they didn't have back pockets and my shirt didn't fully cover my butt, but asked her to say something to me because he didn't want me to think he was looking at my butt. She didn't specify who said something. I hope the meeting puts an end to it as well. Update. 1 day later. Okay, everyone. I just got out of the meeting with the executive assistant and the CEO about my dress code. First, I just wanted to answer the question. I was seeing a lot about why I haven't said anything to HR. Well, because the executive assistant is HR. We don't have an HR department. TLDR. They don't like how my body looks in the clothing and the fact that I mostly wear dark colors. I really wanted to be prepared for this meeting. Since I am the youngest and I'm a bit of a pushover, I wanted to make sure I didn't get bulldozed over in this meeting. I printed out the section of the handbook that explained the dress code, and when I got home yesterday, I changed into the last 4 outfits that I had worn that I was dinged for and took pictures, including the outfit that was half my stuff and half the stuff they bought me. This morning I went around and took a few pictures of my coworkers. I asked for consent who were wearing ripped jeans, flip-flops, and graphic tees. These things are clearly prohibited per the handbook. I also brought with me a top that was bought for me, a blouse from Shane that was bright orange and frilly. Then wore a top that I bought for the job that was fairly similar, a blouse from H&M that was dark green. I asked if I could voice record the meeting so I would be able to refer back to the feedback. They said, okay. They started off the meeting by telling me that it was inappropriate that I argued back yesterday and walked out. Some people were confused when I said I walked out. I didn't leave work. I just walked out of the office. I apologized for the arguing back, but followed it up by saying, I report to 4 different people and have many tasks throughout the day. You 2 know that Tuesdays are my busiest days. And I was frustrated that I was being called away from my job duties to discuss my attire, as I was in the middle of a very crucial task. They tried to swerve around that statement and just went into why they brought me in. They told me that they had made multiple attempts to get me to adhere to the dress code and that I had refused to comply. I told them that I had been trying to adhere to the dress code, pulled out the handbook, and read it out loud to them. I explained that I had been following the dress code as it is described in the handbook, and asked if they could explicitly tell me what I had been doing wrong. I had bought different clothing. I had worn the clothing that they bought me. And I dress business casual, even though the handbook says jean casual, because I understand that being at the front desk means I should be dressing up a little more. They told me that the outfits I choose to wear are distracting. I pulled out the pictures I had taken of myself and asked them to explain in detail what was distracting about these outfits because I clearly didn't understand. Their response was, the black pants with the white polka dots are inappropriate. In that outfit, I was wearing a white flowy top that fully covered my buttocks and had a high neckline with white flats. I asked them to elaborate, and they said the pattern was distracting. I wrote down that there were no patterned pants in my notebook in front of them. The next outfit was a form-fitting black turtleneck tucked in with a belt and cream dress pants. They said that the turtleneck was inappropriate because it was a tighter fit. I wrote down no form-fitting tops. I then pulled out the picture of the outfit I wore, which included the heels they got me and the boot-cut jeans with no back pockets. They said the pants were highly inappropriate since they accentuated my behind paired with the heels. I wrote, no heels paired with jeans. I was keeping my mouth shut. I then pulled out the shirt that was bought for me. I said I'd like to know how this shirt that was bought for me and the shirt that I am wearing now are different, and why one is preferred over the other. They said that the bright, frilly one is more inviting and presents the message they want more than the one that I was wearing. The dark green is not inviting, but the orange is. This was their reasoning for my silver vs. gold jewelry question too. I then said, okay, I think I'm starting to understand. I pulled out the pictures of my coworkers. I asked, do you see how I would be confused when the rest of my coworkers dress like this every day? They said that the other coworkers are held to a different standard since they are in the back office. I just nodded. I replied, okay, I think I understand. So patterns are not okay unless they are bright. loud colors and floral prints. They nodded and smiled. And since I am in the front, I am expected to dress business casual or business professional, not jean casual as described in the handbook. They smiled, nodded, and said, "Yes, we're happy to create a new handbook for you to refer back to." And then I said, "And for the other outfits, it's not really about the items of clothing. It's about how my body looks in the clothes, and my body is the thing that is distracting everyone at work, not the clothes." They sort of stammered a little bit, and I said, "I really try hard to make you guys happy, but I think it's inappropriate that this whole meeting was done, taking time out of everyone's day just to tell me that my body is being looked at in a way that is distracting people from their jobs. I am very uncomfortable and am feeling sexualized and harassed at this point. I understand that the dark colors and certain patterns aren't what you guys are looking for. But the other feedback you've given me is just about my body and how it looks. My compensation is not high enough for me to afford to buy any more clothing for this job." They told me that I was misunderstanding this whole meeting, and that was not what they were saying at all. The clothing I wear is not inviting and does not convey the message they want to put out. It has nothing to do with my body. They pride themselves on being an inclusive and safe workplace, and would never intentionally make anyone feel sexualized, and they couldn't believe that I was interpreting this as harassment. They said that they felt like buying me clothes was a kind gesture to help me work on my professionalism, and they thought that I would have been more receptive to that. They also said that if I'd like, they can extend my hours so my compensation is raised. They said that they would be having another meeting with me about the new handbook, and to look out for it on my calendar. I was so frustrated I am an angry crier. I did not cry, but I felt it brewing. I just smiled, nodded, and asked if there was anything else they needed from me. They said no, and I walked out of the office. I had so much more that I wanted to say, but I choked up and was upset that I didn't say anything else. I am looking for a new job. I don't want to do this other meeting. I feel like it's not worth trying to fight it anymore. I guess I'll just wear the 4 outfits they gave me every day until I find a new job. I feel a little defeated and have a sour taste from all of this, but I can't afford to just quit. But I have the recording, so I'm going to do research to see if maybe I have a case here. I'm not meant for corporate America. Comments. Separate Slice 19706. They offered to let you work more hours so you could afford clothes that they approved of. How did they say that with a straight face? Beefinger. My boss put in for a $6 per hour raise for myself and another guy to get us just above the market rate for what we do. The person who decides those things, not his boss, wrote back, "We can offer them 3 hours of overtime every week, but not direct compensation." Little one. That reminds me. My boss tried to ask her supervisor for a raise for me. I told her that I was doing the work of 2-3 people, and I needed some better compensation, or I was going to get burned out. Her supervisor told her, well, if money is the issue, she can always work overtime. It just felt like such a slap in the face to be told, essentially, yeah, you're working harder than most people. Just work more, and that should solve the problem. Low balance 14404. I really feel like you need to get a lawyer involved in this. Nothing that they are doing is appropriate. And making a manual just for one employee. Tadoval. I agree. A lawyer needs to be involved. This is beyond ridiculous. Stinston 555. Agreed. OP, schedule a consult with 2-3 attorneys well-versed in workplace litigation. The initial consult is usually free. Outline everything that you detailed here and put the recording of the meeting on a flash drive to play during your consult. I believe you may have a case for a hostile workplace, and the comments about how your body looked in certain clothes may meet the threshold for a workplace harassment claim. Good luck. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.